Hi, this is part 2 in a series in which I'm creating a figurine to sell alongside my books at book fairs. And if you missed part 1, I'll link to it down below in the description, or there's a link up here in the corner too. But to summarize, if you don't want to watch the whole first one, I'm creating the big plan is I'm going to be creating a large figurine that's got posable arms and legs. But I want to practice on small ones first. So I made this little monster. Let's see if you can focus on that. And part 1 was crafting this out of air dry clay and then creating a mold of that out of silicone and pouring wax in there and making a wax version of it. And here's one of the versions of that. This is very soft wax, and I've also made some versions that are hard wax too. But I'm going to play with the soft wax first because it's expendable and it's one that it's cheaper. The hard wax is more expensive. So the broad view of this is that next, this one, I will be encasing this in metal. I'll be spray painting it with some metal spray paint and then doing a wash so that it creates sort of a hard metal shell, melting this wax out and then pouring vinyl into it. And the vinyl toy will be the final thing. The vinyl will be the final. So first, I'm gonna bring the camera closer so you can see what's happening. But I'm gonna smooth this out, make it look as good as possible, and then I'll spray paint it and bring you along the journey. But you may be wondering why it is that I created a clay version first, made a mold, and then created a wax version. Why didn't I just sculpt it out of wax? Well, there's two answers. The simple one is that I'm following directions. But when I asked that myself, why am I going through all this extra effort? I realized that if I encase this in metal and melt it and evacuate all the wax, then put the vinyl in, and turns out I made a mistake, this will be gone. I'll have to sculpt the whole thing all over again. And by making a mold of it and making multiples of it, I have 3 now, I can just take one of these multiples and try it again. And that's a good plan because this is the first time I'm ever doing it. I'm following video instructions and instructions I'm finding on the internet, and who knows how accurate they are. I'm experiencing this all myself. For example, this was broken. I don't know if you saw the last one, but I broke the foot off because it's so fragile. And I had to learn how to weld wax together. So I welded his little foot back on. And also, he's all bumpy, he's got pits in him, really ugly. So I had to learn how to make him smooth again. So I'll bring it down here and show you what I've been doing. Okay, so you can still see that there's some ridges and some bumps and some pits, like here along the back, that I want to get rid of. So I learned that you can use just a little bit of this stuff, lighter fluid, and put it on a Q-tip, and somehow lighter fluid has this effect on wax. Maybe it's the fumes that kind of melt it chemically? I don't know. But it really smooths it out nicely. It's a little fumey. the next thing is I want to attach, I need to weld some more wax on the bottom to make a base. So that this will be, I'll be pouring this way, you know, pouring the vinyl into the mold like this, and I'll need something to hold on to pull the vinyl out. Don't want to just grab the feet, and then I can just cut it off when I'm done. So I'm going to weld this on. Maybe I'll get some more of this stuff from my collection. Well, here's the pedestal completed that this little character is going to be sitting on, but I have run into a couple roadblocks that have caused me to make a pivot into a different direction, because I've tried, let me just move over here and zoom out. I've been experimenting with this metal coating, and it's a little more complicated than I thought it was going to be. As you can see, a little bit of copper has developed here, just a little bit. I spray painted this green hard wax with the metal paint. That's this right here. Super Shield, nickel conductive paint. So I also spray painted this and connected it to wires and dunked it in this blue liquid. It has an anode, or this is the cathode, this is the anode. So copper atoms will flow through this liquid onto here and coat it. Supposedly, what happened with this soy-based wax, which is super duper soft, the wax disintegrated completely. All that was left was this goo, this paint in the bottom of the thing. So luckily, I mean, obviously I didn't do it with this, I did it with a trial piece. And so I cut off a piece of the hard wax and spray painted it and did the same thing, but it's just not, it's not operating the way it should. And the internet has all sorts of different pieces of advice on how to make this work. So just out of, I want you to see what this does. But first I want to tell you that I've switched plans. I'm not going to do this now. I'm going to learn more about it over the next month or two. But I do want to complete this. And there is a hard deadline because I want to create these little characters to sell at my craft fair, which is in a month. So I don't want to devote too much time or energy or money into buying different stuff and trying different stuff. If I did, I would enjoy it. But I mean, if I did have the time and energy and money, I would enjoy the experimentation, but I don't, and so I won't. But I want to show you what this whole thing is about. So I'm gonna spray paint this real quick off camera in a safe spot, wearing PPE. Okay, I'm gonna let that cure a little bit, and then I'm gonna hook this up and show you what it looks like in there, because it's kind of cool. Look, I already chipped it off. Oh well. Well, we'll see. This is just for demonstration purposes anyway.
We don't want the wires touching at the top, do we? No, we don't. All right. So that's in there like that. Okay. There's what it looks like. It looks like they're touching, but they're not. They're very close. There's a lot of reflections here. See, there is the anode, the painted wax, and there is the cathode, the piece of copper. And here is where they're connected. So let's turn it up. I've been told 6 volts is the minimum. Look at that, it's already happening. I'm just going to leave this right here. This is a good view. Those wires were just about ready to snap. Huh. Well, it's a good thing that I fished that out just in time. Here, look at this. You probably saw those forming along the bottom of the jar. This is cool. Look at that. Look at what that did. Oh my goodness. I'm going to get a macro shot of these. These are super cool. Oh, I got to stop fiddling with them first. This in the bottom of the anode. Well, that was worth the experiment, for goodness sakes. Because look at this. This just didn't do anything. This is where the wires were touching. But it's the same old paint. Yeah. So, yeah, that's not going to happen. I'll show you what will happen. Well, and here's the original character that I coated with Mod Podge in the previous episode, and here's the resin cast that I made in the previous episode, and I decided I'm just going to make resin casts of all these characters, and that is what I'm going to sell at the craft fair. Now these are, they're not hollow, they're completely solid. Yeah. Except for this one. This one is special. I thought I'd try to make a hollow one with resin, and it kind of succeeded. See, look, hollow inside. Very translucent. Let's hold them up to the light. How about that? kind of translucent. And I tried with the obviously I've been experimenting with resin dyes ranging from green to blue, and solid to speckled. So these guys I wanted to be solid, and there's a couple speckled ones in there. This one's kind of speckled. This one's solid. So yeah, I'm gonna give these guys a little chance to grow, and I might use some of the wax creatures that I've made, the casts that I made from these, because as I was playing with them, I realized that the it's not quite symmetrical. If you look at them, see that side of the head is a little more raised than that side. So I corrected that in the wax figurine. And also this dent, I thought it was cute before, but changed it. And I gave him a little more texture, because this is supposed to be a scaly representation of the rain god. Kind of lumpy, kind of living on the bottom of the river. So yeah, so I might try to make some wax casts of some silicone casts of the wax casts that were made from these, and see how that goes. So until then, I might just end the video here and create one last short video at the end to show the collection and the setup at my booth at the Elkhorn High School Craft Fair, where I'm going to be selling my comic books and probably some toys. I'm going to try this again because I had the polarities reversed. And we'll watch. Yeah, the bubbles are not coming off of the piece now, because it is now the anode, and the copper piece is the, I mean, this is the cathode. I'm so confused. This is the cathode, this is the anode. So the atoms of copper are moving from there to there. So we will watch. That looks like it's doing the right thing. You can even see how the copper is delaminating a little bit. I mean the copper sheet, and it's also making this very shiny. So that's encouraging. Very encouraging. Look what's happening here. Look, it's... yeah, I'm gonna have to stop it. But it's good though. Look at that. That is what I wanted. Oh, nope. I didn't want that. Okay, no more of that. And I shouldn't touch this without my PPE. So I'm going to get some of that stuff. Look at this. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I took the copper atoms from this and I put it there using that solution, copper sulfate. So that's good. That makes me happy. However, it's been a couple days since I since I failed the first time and then realized I'd reversed it thanks to Terry Higman's observations. And in the meantime, I really did come to realize after researching how much the vinyl costs and all that stuff, that it's not worth it for me to try to sheath one of my little sculptures in copper and then pour vinyl into it and create vinyl toys. That's a very complicated skill. It takes more time, energy, and money than I have. So I'm going to go ahead with my resin toy project. I think that's more achievable because I've done it before. So still on track. But thank you for your advice. Thanks for the comment section, because that's what saved me.